Hi everyone, welcome back to Crafting at Whimsy Wonderland. My name is Stacy. I have my first spring craft for you today. I was doing some Valentine's crafts, but I found this at the Dollar Tree and I've been dying to make it. So I want to share it with you. What am starting with is one of these shadow boxes that has a cutout of a butterfly. Now they had lots of them with different sayings. What you want to pay attention to is what color is the front painted. Get the one you like the best that'll go with the flowers you get. Okay, we are going to end up with one that looks like this with the flowers coming up through the butterfly. So you need to have some rather small flowers. Now when I was just kind of lining these up at the Dollar Tree and kind of holding them up, I thought these would work perfectly. They are crocus stems, and there are, count your flowers, because the purple one that I just did only had, I think, 12 or 13 stems. The orange one has 14. I don't know how much this pinky purple one has, but this is what you want, is a crocus. Okay, one bunch will do one butterfly. Okay, and then the first thing you should do, we'll work with this in a second, but you need to fix up your flowers. So you're going to cut off the stem part. I pulled them all off of the leaves, and I'm cutting off this long stem part because they're too tall and I don't want them sticking too far up out of the butterfly frame. So I'm going to put a dot of hot glue on there and then put that cap back on. You have to glue it back on because you're cutting so much off it doesn't hold. But you need this cap to go back on to keep your crocus leaves held tight together like a blooming crocus. You also want to make sure that you have your leaves kind of go in the right direction when you glue them together. Okay. So now you just need to go through and do that to all of the flowers. So now I have all of my flowers cut down, and you may or may not have to do this next step depending on what flowers you choose. If you find some flowers that are smaller, some smaller crocuses would really work good on this, but they didn't have any and I haven't seen any. So if you have some smaller flowers that aren't as tall, maybe you can just go from right here. But the crocuses are tall and they stick up too far if I do that, and then you lose the shape of the butterfly. So what I need to do is knock this back piece out, and it's recessed in there, and there's just a bead of glue on a little lip in here. So the first thing I need to do is run a knife or a screwdriver, putty knife, whatever you got, run that between this hanger and the top of the picture frame, because that breaks the seal from the glue. Then I'm going to, from the front, being careful not to break these little pieces that stick out, I'm going to push down with my thumbs. I gotta loosen it all the way around first and see which side's going to give. There we go. Just keep rotating it and pushing. It feels like it's going to break, and then it just kind of gives. This is the third one I've taken apart. Oh, that's the first one that's happened on. So be careful. I'm going to have to repair that now. Okay, so this broke. I'm going to just right now stick some hot glue down in there and push it back together. Okay, and with that, I also need to glue in some popsicle sticks. This ledge is what was holding the back on, and I need to put a little buffer. I need to have something to glue the back to that's up higher, and I'm going to use popsicle sticks to make that happen. And then I'm just kind of wiping off any glue that squishes up. Okay, I'm going to do that on the top and the bottom. I didn't need, on this one, I didn't glue down the side, and I really don't think it needs it. Okay, I just did the top and the bottom, and I left that hanger on in case I decide I want to hang it on the wall. It'll just have it being tilted a little bit. But if I'm planning on using it as a shelf sitter, so it'll be just fine. So I glued 2 to the top. Now I got to glue 2 to the bottom. And you can decide if you want to put the glue on the inside or on the popsicle stick. It depends. I don't want to burn my fingers anymore. And I am just pushing them tightly up against the little lip that's already in there. This is just going to be the support to glue the back in, so you don't really need to worry about it too much. Okay, so I'm just going to put a good bead of glue on top of those popsicle sticks, and then I'm going to press this back in. And now I still have the shadow box, it's just farther back, so I have room to work. And I don't like this being at an angle because I want my crocuses to stand up straight, so I'm using just a couple of the tumbling tower blocks to prop it up so that it compensates for the width of this hanger. Okay. All right, the first places I want to glue into is into this top part of the wing. So I'm going to put a generous amount of hot glue on there, and I'm going to stick that down in there and hold it for a second so it has time to start to harden. Now pay attention because some of the crocus picks had variegated colors, and you don't want to put all the dark ones in one side part and all the light ones in the other. Or maybe you want to go make it kind of look like it's ombre. So pay attention to what the colors of your flowers are and if they're the same or not. Okay, so I'm just going to hold those for a few seconds till that puddle of glue has time to start to harden up. This is where you got to kind of start fluffing your flowers into the position that you want them to be in. And it goes. Okay, I have one flower left and I've got a little bit of a hole right there. So that's where I'm going to tuck it in. I wouldn't actually have to use this one, but I kind of squeezed that last one in so I'd have room. I want it to be full and look beautiful. All right, now fluff them up, make them pretty, and voila. I'm getting my spring butterfly collection done. I think they are so pretty. Can't wait to get, I think I have 5 or 6 of them to do. So I will come back and show you when they're all done. So I have all 6 of my butterflies done with the little crocus petals. And I'm going to use some of this ribbon, burlap ribbon from the Dollar Tree. It has the white polka dots on it. It's 9 feet long. I have a little bit left over from another package or project, so I'm going to use that first before I open this up. And what I'm going to use this for is to go around the edges. Now, the front of the shadow box was painted when I purchased it, but the edges are raw, and so I need to cover those up. I could have painted it, but I didn't, and I could still paint it now, but I think a little bit of burlap ribbon on there is just what this needs, and I like the polka dot look with it. So I want this to be able to be a shelf sitter or a hanger, so I'm going to start at the bottom, and I'll leave my seam at the bottom, and if I push it in really hard, I think that it'll be okay and not make too much of a line. So I'm just going to put a little bit of hot glue on the bottom, and I'm going to push this with the wire edge of my ribbon right up against the edge. And I want to glue it down pretty firmly, and then I'm going to run a bead on the edge, and then just a little bit, kind of random. You got to get it down kind of quick so your glue doesn't cool on you. You don't want your glue to puddle up at all because you don't want it to show through. Okay, so then along the edge, and then just a quick scribble in the middle. And this ribbon is 1.5 inches wide. 1 inch was a little bit too small, but it would have worked. I think if I had used the inch ribbon, I would have wanted to paint it first. But with this, it's okay. Putting a good bead along the edge, because that's where I want the finish to look nicest. And then just a little scribble down the middle. And I'm pulling it as tightly as I can as I go around the corners. I'm pinching the ribbon on the back side. Some of the glue is coming through the ribbon, but it's not too hot because it's settled in there a little bit. Alright, and then I'm just going to glue this part and then see where it overlaps. And I'm thinking a bigger overlap is better than a smaller one when it comes to trying to make it stable. I don't know. I'm going to glue the end down. And then on the back, it overhangs just a little bit. You can either leave it like that or you can glue it down. Up to you. So on the top it looks like that, and that covers up that hanger. And then it's just smooth all the way around, and the polka dots just give it a little extra interest so it can sit. Alright, there you have it. These are my 6 butterfly shadow box projects. Let me know what you think of them in the comment section below, and let me know if you might go out and try to find this stuff and make it for yourself. This has been Crafting at Whimsy Wonderland. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you next time.